Hello and welcome to the inaugural episode of Regulation Sausage Talk. This is kind of a carryover from the old podcast. Every once in a while, we would do a little supplemental behind the scenes, peer behind the curtain, peer through the sausage casing to the meat inside, if you will, of the business that was Face and is now the Regulation Podcast. We figured it was probably time to sit down with y'all and kind of give a state of affairs. We're how far into this company now? 2 months?
About 3 months.
3 monts, 10 episodes
3
in,
months.
I think, have come out as of the recording.
June, July. Yeah, 3 months. I'm bad at that. Never mind. I should. Why am I saying that? I'm bad. I always get my brain gets tripped up.
Hey guys, it's been exactly 2 months on the date of this recording that we have gone
We
live.
started in May.
I mean, I just don't
May,
get
June,
if
July, or
there's a
3
date-
months.
There's a date
June,
like
June to
exactly
July.
associated
Yeah,
with
that's
like
two.
there's a date where it occurred. I just don't like. Do you know when your birthday is? Like, do you think that fluctuates? Like, it's a date that it happened.
Yeah, but it's 3 months. But it's 2 months.
What do you mean? Why do you keep saying 3 months?
Because we started in May.
Okay.
May was 2 months ago.
Yeah. Hey, Gavin. In
May?
fact, it was exactly 2 months ago from the date
now
of
in
this
July.
recording when
What?
it all happened.
Andrew, I'm going to help you out. We're going to get this real simple. And everybody at home,
Thank you.
listen along if you're confused as well. May 10th, Rooster Teeth ended, and this company began.
Yeah, it's
in
my
earnest.
birthday.
May 10th.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. May 10th to June 10th, that was 1 month, right?
Okay, I'm with you so far.
Then from June 10th to July 10th, which is today, is one additional month.
That's 2
It
months.
crosses over 3 month names, but it's
Exactly.
only been 2 months.
You lost me.
We've been doing this for 3 months.
We've not been doing this for
But
3
2
months.
months.
We've been doing this for 2 months.
We've done this across 3 months.
There you go.
This is shut up. Just say, you know what? I was
May,
wrong.
June, July.
No.
So we started the business together. As you know, Rooster Teeth went under, and
What?
we, yeah, you may or may not have heard, but Rooster Teeth, in fact, closed down. We knew that this was a possibility for a long time. I think anybody who works in entertainment has to build contingency plans because that's just the way this world works, unfortunately, the entertainment industry works. And so we had been in discussions privately for a long time about, if something were ever to happen and Rooster Teeth was no more, what would we do? Would we want to continue? And I think we weren't planning for it, but we wanted to make sure we were all on the same page. And so when we did, in fact, in I think March, find out that Rooster Teeth was shuttering and all of our content would be closed down, I guess. It was a shock, but we kind of basically just said, okay, well, we knew this was a possibility. We know we want to continue working together. What does that look like? Let's get started. And we put our heads down and we started busting our ass. And I think the day Rooster Teeth ended was the day this company began. And if you've ever started a company, it's a lot of work. It's a hell of a lot of work to do in 2 months. It's even more work to do when you're ending another company at the same time. So it was frustrating, and it required us to do all the things that one does to start a business, from getting a tax identification number and filing as a corporation and with the United States government, and getting the name wrong and having to file to get the name corrected with the United States government, which alone can set everything back 2.5 weeks. Just so you know, and getting bank accounts
And deciding the president and the secretary.
deciding the president of the company, which we
That was
had
fun.
to do, and the secretary. We have like a 45-page article of incorporation that I don't understand any of it, but I know that we're all in a business, equal partners running this company together, this regulation company together, that's job is to produce this podcast and all of the supplemental content that surrounds it. Is that a pretty good summarization of what we've been doing for the last 2 months, or how we got here?
I would agree.
Yeah, it's a good 3 month summary. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Those months between March and May, like finding out it was ending and it ending, that somehow felt like 6 months. That
It
like
did.
saying goodbye to
Oh, yeah.
everyone for like 2
Yes.
straight months. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
It was seeing people that I hadn't seen in a long time at the office that we were going to infrequently after COVID, and then saying goodbye every day for 60 days.
Yeah. You started after a while. You'd be like, "Would you can we leave already?" Jesus, it's getting. I've said goodbye to you 8 times
as someone who works remote, maybe I had a little bit different of experience where 2 months felt like, oh, that's so far away. And then 1 month happened and I went, holy shit, this is like once the 1 month crossed, it was like, this feels like it's going to end tomorrow. This is insane.
I had a moment like that with Eric where we planned out like these are all the things we're going to have to get done over the next 60 days. And, you start to portion it out and be like, well, we don't have to worry about that right now. And then, everything else is going on. Also, like ending the other company is a lot of work because, they basically came to us and said, anything that doesn't have an ad sold on it, you guys don't have to do. We get it. The company's ending. If you don't want to continue doing Face, Face had an ad sold, so we would have had to. But if you don't want to continue doing Let's Plays, or if you don't want to continue doing this supplemental content, or if you don't want to wrap this stuff up, you really don't have to. But
I was just going to say, it's so funny you just bring that up. We were so far ahead in Let's Play, we only needed to record like 2 or 3 videos to.
Yeah, that's true. It definitely helped that we tried our best to stay ahead. But we wanted to end strong, and we wanted to do give, I guess, the amount of respect to the product and the production and the company. So we did a lot of work at the end there, in addition to the nuts and bolts of dismantling a company and like fucking cleaning out your desk with a cardboard box. And our desks had a lot of cardboard boxes and fucking all kinds of face nonsense that we had to figure out what to do with, porta potties and whatnot. But, everybody also was trying to figure out their own personal lives too. Like some of us sold houses and moved across town, at the same time. So I remember there was a conversation where Eric and I were like, about the same time you said, Andrew, about a month in, where we realized, oh my God, the time has evaporated. How the fuck are we going to get all this done? Where did it go? 2 months, my ass. And it's been, I think since that conversation, I've just been running full speed.
It absolutely has felt that way.
That was a great moment where we rented a U-Haul to like take some of the bigger stuff. And this really nice fan of Rooster Teeth had showed up and set up a little sign on the entrance that just said, thanks for everything, Rooster Teeth, or like goodbye, Rooster Teeth, or something like that.
Sweetest guy.
It was weird, like in full view of this person, all of us show up and put a pink porta potty into the U-Haul and then drive away, just waving at this guy like, thanks so much. It was like a really like sweet moment, I thought. It was funny.
It was really sweet and very surreal. Yeah, it was bizarre. We just tried to drive away into the sunset with our giant pink porta potty.
I like that it wasn't that we just assigned someone to go and take that somewhere else. It was literally you, me, and Eric just like trying to put this thing into the van. There was like no one to help. Everyone was so busy.
That's what this company is, though. It's the 5 of us doing everything. And that's what I want it to be. And maybe we should talk about that for a little bit, because we were born out of the ashes of a very successful previous production that we were all fortunate enough to get to participate in that success, right? But I'll be honest with you, the company outgrew my comfort level early on. I have talked many times about how I wanted to stay in the spare bedroom. I never wanted to leave it. And every successive production I did, I tried to make a new bedroom, but I tried to make it even smaller, A lot of bloat in those bedrooms as time goes on. And so that's essentially what we have crafted here, that we are a 5-person unit that, we do like, we're going to hire a CPA. We're not going to do our own taxes, and we're contracting out editors. And we hired Michelle to do our logo, who did the face logo as well. We're still working with other people, but the company is the 5 of us, and we're doing everything from running the business to editing to posting socials to thumbnails to the entire thing is the 5 of us. And I don't know about you guys. I keep waiting for it to be scary, but it's not. I couldn't be happier. I couldn't feel more comfortable with where we are. I couldn't feel better about the support from the audience and how much they have just showered us with love and support that has really helped turn us into overnight a functioning company, like a legitimate functioning company.
I couldn't imagine the launch being pursuing beyond the launch without the level of support we had. It was so just having that encouragement, because as you said, it was such an exhausting road to get to that point. And I feel like we are just now kind of getting our feet under us in a way that's really exciting, where that support has enabled us to like bring in editors on a contractual basis to like make a different variety of content or content that we're excited about and we think our audience and community will be excited about that we just wouldn't be enabled to make without that support. So like beyond just like the personal gust of momentum that the enthusiasm our community has given us, it has also enabled our content to I think be better in ways that it couldn't be without that support. So it's so many levels of appreciation.
The support has helped us ramp up back to what we were doing so much faster than if we had to do it ourselves. Like, we're already talking about adding in a second gameplay day upload every week, just because we're so excited about making content. That's like, we're so far ahead. There's not enough days to actually put the stuff out.
Which is crazy when you think about how like it costs money to start this company and to do things and to acquire Face as a brand. Like we started pretty massively in the negative when we started. And so to be in a position where we feel we're able to bring on additional help is amazing. And we're so appreciative of the support that we've had.
Yeah, it was immediate, like heartwarming relief on that first day, I feel like.
Yeah, and I feel like we've talked about this maybe in the early regulation episodes, but we were able to acquire Face. We were able to buy that. But we were not able to acquire Let's Play, which is why we don't have it. That was way too expensive. We kind of shot ourselves in the foot with Let's Play because we took it over and made it profitable for the first time in a long time really quickly and gave it value. And then Warner Brothers looked at it and said, oh, this is valuable now. We want a lot of money for it. And we went, God damn it.
Yeah, just for the sheer amount of videos on that channel.
Yeah.
We re-energized it to the point where it really took off again.
Yeah, it's tremendous back catalog on that thing. But that's okay because, we have our new gameplay YouTube channel, the Regulation Gameplay, and that's off to a phenomenal start as well. And it's amazing. We're at that period where the episodes are getting more views than we have subscribers, which is great to see, And,
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
It won't be that way forever, definitely.
Totally.
So enjoy it while you can. But yeah, it's like I'm really glad you said that thing, Gavin, because I think that is the key, I guess, point I want to emphasize in this sausage talk to the audience, amongst all the other points, is that their support from day one allowed us not only to survive, but to grow, like you said, so much faster. I had a rough outline in my head. I talked about it with you guys a little bit. I was hoping that we would get back to essentially where we were the day before we found out Rooster Teeth was shutting down, which is, Face was at an all-time high as an entity. We were humming. And that's part of what sucked so badly about getting the rug pulled out from under us is we knew we could get up to that point again, but it was going to be a lot of work to get to that point. I thought it would take us, optimistically, I thought it would take us 6 months to get up to where we're releasing the amount of content and it's of the quality and in the same vein as where we were at that moment. And I think we're there now. We're damn near there now if we're not there now. But we're going to surpass it in a month or two, maybe. And that's because of just like, I cannot state it enough. The audience has been so wonderful and to support us to such a degree that I can't believe we're able to create the content that we're creating so early and so plentifully.
And it's such an indescribably good feeling to be at the helm of something that people are excited about. Like people looking forward to the episode each week. I like that we can hop into a game, even if it's one that's, 15 years old, and churn out something that makes people like tear up laughing. It's just such an exciting feeling that we have the ability to do that, and that's our job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the best feeling in the world.
It is tough to vocalize how many, like I will have at least 6 moments a day of just being, I'm so thankful for our community and our ability to continue to do this outside of Rooster Teeth. Like it is insane that I get to spend all of this time making stuff I'm super excited about with people I love. And it's an indescribable joy.
There is something I'm quite thankful for with this company of these 5 people, in that when something lands on our plate, there's always someone who's happy to take it. Like we've all, stepped up beyond what we used to do to take care of things that aren't necessarily our strength, but we end up everything's handled and there's enough eyes on it where not a lot of stuff is falling through the cracks. And I think that is one of the benefits of a small team. Like if there was 50 of us, there would be, that sounds wrong, but there would be more that would fall through the cracks, I think.
We joke about it, but the democratic process with 5 is great. If there's an issue, it's such an easy, we're all in agreement of majority rules on choices, no hard feelings. I mean, the movement is constant, and there isn't that sludge of like trying to work through any decision.
Yeah, that's a great point, Andrew. There is the voting system. Not that we often find ourselves at
very rare
at ends, but the voting system just allows us to blow through stuff really quickly. Like you said, could bog you down for a while.
Yes.
And that's, I really do appreciate that. And to Gavin's point, the nice thing about it is, just everybody's more than willing to jump in and excited to jump in. We're at that point, that sweet spot in a company. And I've talked about how the opposite is good. Like when I turned the store over to Emily McBride and she was so much better at it than I was. And I realized that being a jack of all trades has definitely limitations, but we're all the point where we are right now is I feel like everybody is touching everything. And when that happens, it just creates a cohesion with everything that we make. You know what I mean? And that's, that can only happen when you're this size.
Totally. And beyond us is, I just wanted to say, with us like launching everything, how appreciative I am of the mods on like our Discord and whatnot, and how
oh my God, absolutely.
They have been so unbelievably helpful in sort of this process of enabling us to do stuff in that Discord space. And just, I couldn't imagine that side of it without their support. So we all are, I believe, incredibly thankful for that.
I also love the fact that there's a lot of content we're making. It feels like people are going to like it because I'm excited to proof them. Like when something gets posted to our QC channel and it's like, oh, here's Chained Together, or here's like the GTA traffic thing. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited to watch it again, even if I was in it, which I had lost over the years, where in other gameplays, I'd maybe just experiencing it in real life was enough for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. I watched the traffic thing in GTA twice, and I would never do that.
Yeah, I was so excited to watch it that I just edited it really quickly after we did it. I was like, I just want to... That was so fun.
What's taking this editor so long? I got to watch this fucking video. But maybe we should talk for a second about what the business is. So the business is, the regulation company is a Patreon. That's where we that's what's mostly funding what we're doing here. It's also, we do have ads on the podcast. That's a source of revenue. And we have revenue from YouTube. That's a source of revenue. And then the other piece to that would be merchandise that doesn't exist yet. And we can talk about that. But that's like the 4 prongs of our company, I guess. And that's essentially what it boils down to. I know people used to always like when Bernie would give the talks about like how Rooster Teeth makes its money and what are like the 6 pools and all that shit. But that's what it is for us. It's Patreon. It's going to be merch. It's YouTube ad revenue, and it's ad revenue, DIA or DAI as they call it, and direct read as we grow.
Just touching on the ads for a minute, another great thing about us having full control and whatnot is when we're setting up the ads, it was so cool to see all of the brands that sort of we had the ability to work with, and being able to choose stuff we wouldn't want to do or things that we would no longer be interested in that don't necessarily reflect, and for Rooster Teeth stuff, and this is not, it's just how the business operates. We didn't have the same level of control of, I don't want to partner with this company.
It's you ultimately you did, but it's harder to say no in that environment. I'll say that.
Sure. Okay. Well, I didn't feel like I did in that environment.
Yeah.
I'll say.
So maybe sometimes you didn't, but it was pretty hard. It could be pretty hard to say no, especially when the company was struggling.
Sure. And if I did, I would then have to this is the thing. We would all have to first agree. Then we'd have to bring it to someone, and then there'd be a meeting about there'd just be so many hoops to get there to essentially have the company agree to take a loss. Because there'd be no reason for us to not do it from a terms of financial. Because we would make more money to do it. It's just we don't necessarily feel we reflect with some of the things that this company may be involved in. So to be able to just from the start say like, I don't, even though we can make money this way, and that has been another amazing thing of how we've been supported by the community is being able to say we don't need to make the most amount of money at all times. We're more concerned about serving our community in a way that is meaningful to us and that we think would be of interest to them.
And that feels like, to me, one of the main reasons we haven't jumped back into everything at once, like hopping straight into merch and stuff, is that we do need to make sure that because there's no staff and it's just us, we don't lose focus on the most important thing the company does, which is the podcast.
Yeah, the podcast is the thing that we do the best, and merch would be the thing that we, I guess, would manage the worst.
Yeah.
For sure.
You're absolutely right. You're 100% right.
Even with our experience, over the years. But I will say the merch to me is such an important part of what we're doing here. After I've talked about this at length in other places, but after essentially running a t-shirt company for 20 fucking years, I just got so sick of that process. And, part of the thesis of Face was that when we introduced merch, it had to be merch that was a part of the show and a part of the comedy or the bit, so that when you're buying a fucking, a slop clock, you're not just buying a clock, you're buying like a dumb story and a fun like moment to have on your wall, or a kitchen magnet. Like you're buying into this thing, and it creates this ownership of the audience, I feel, over the content a little bit in a really, I don't know, uplifting way. And so I still feel that way about it. And I want to treat it as preciously as we did with Face. And we are just not in a position to do it justice right now. And that doesn't mean we're not working on it. Eric and I had a meeting with a company last week. They're putting together a pitch proposal for us right now. We have, luckily, there were a lot of talented people who worked in the e-commerce department at Rooster Teeth, and we have maintained contact with all of them. And so we have a healthy relationship with a lot of people out there, but it's just something that we want to take our time with because we want to get it right. And it was such a point of contention in the past, and we don't want to go through that again. And so when we put something out there for you, we want it to be something that we believe in, that's good quality, that's not a logo slapped onto a hat or a t-shirt or a messenger bag, that makes sense. And that first thing will probably be the throatler, I guess, or some form of gurgler. But there are no immediate plans to, like, there have been no orders placed. There has been no sourcing done. We're handling all that in the background, and we're taking our time with it. So just understand, it's not something you're going to see soon. But when we get it up and running, it will be up and running.
The thing with merch is that it's not a why don't you just venture. It's not a thing where we can just flip a switch and just have it done. Somebody has to, I do it for 100% Eat. We have to run a Printful and a Shopify, and that's all print on demand. But even with that, we have to facilitate these orders, which are sometimes hit with fraud, to send from one to request fulfillment to the other, to pay this thing to send it out. But then you email 2 days later and you go, hey, I put the wrong address. Can you change it? And we're customer support for merch.
Yeah.
We're also the person that has to go through and change the size because you selected medium when you meant large. Like, those things don't seem like big deals when you are the person who is buying that thing. But when you are one of X number of people who are emailing because something has gone wrong, it is near insurmountable to do that and continue to make time for gameplay videos and podcasts and cut clips and put all this other stuff out. So it's slow going with the merch, but we are working on it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's similar to the whole like video game thing where it's like, I feel like now people would rather have a delayed game than a busted piece of shit that came out when the investors wanted it.
But the thing that's important to keep in mind is that if there are pre-orders and stuff like that, you aren't happy until you have the physical thing in your hand. And the thing that I don't want is to put time in between you giving us the money and then you having the item. I want that to be as immediate as possible because that's the only way any of this works.
Our theory on how to do merch is the same as it was when we talked about it in those previous sausage talks back in the day on Face. We are not a pre-orders company. I'm not participating in that. That is a nightmare. I've done it. It's brutal. There are legal requirements and regulations with notifying people when their stuff gets delayed. There are supply chain issues. It is an organizational nightmare that I don't want any part of.
I just wanted to say that we talked a lot about in this recording the ability that because of the support we've received from the community, how it has enabled us to grow faster than we anticipated in certain areas. All of that growth is incredibly thoughtfully made. Like we're not just expanding for the sake of expanding, because there is a possibility in which we could generate more money if we're selling merch right now. Everything that we've done as far as growth has been, how can we make the best thing that we want to make and serve our community in the best way that we can with the resources and support that they are providing. So it's a thing of, it would be so disrespectful, I feel like, to our community to immediately just launch something because we think that it could generate additional revenue for us, where every choice I think that we make is from the perspective of doing right by this group of people that has been so amazing in enabling us to do all the things that we have done so far.
The audience is also very switched on to how we've been in the past as well. Like, I feel like we all are well aware of what burnout feels like, and what it feels like to just be churning out content because we need to.
Mm-hmm.
And we just don't want to go anywhere near that anymore.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a balance of making sure that we're creating. It's a funny thing where, like, the burnout that we face right now, at least there's no burnout, but it's like having to mindfully control how much we do. Because I could do constantly making stuff with you guys, like, whenever. It is so much fun. I'm having so much fun doing everything we do. It just, any excuse to make more is great, but it is so important to create that time for yourself as well. And, like, we have families and other responsibilities.
The reality is oftentimes that burnout is fueled by enthusiasm. And when you love what you do to the degree that we do, you really do have to be mindful about that. And I will say, because I've seen a lot of audience concerns about it as well, and I will say, without being boastful in any way, I think Gavin and I as a unit probably have more, if not more, experience in this world than anybody on Earth at this point. And I think we're both pretty conscious of doing it the right way this time, and well aware of where things went astray in the past. And we've talked a lot about how the things we want to do differently this time. And so I'm keeping a real close eye on us as we go.
Yeah, and I feel like we've really learned our limits. And
100%.
Currently, I feel so far from burnout.
Yeah.
Oh,
same.
Absolutely. Could I give a little inside baseball that I think is fun talking about merch stuff? I think we could talk about. So when we were acquiring the rights to Face as a brand, Gavin asked a fantastic question. Like, this was the final hours of, like, oh, we've been waiting a long time to do it. I mean, people are aware our launch was not exactly as smooth as we'd want it to be. We didn't have feeds. It was a whole process of going back and forth, but it felt like we were at the very end of it. And then there was a realization of, do we get merch rights for everything we've done in the past? Is that part of this? And just assuming, like, yeah, of course it would be. Like, we're getting Face, so why wouldn't we get everything that falls under that umbrella? That was not at all part of the deal, which then created this thing of, like, okay, well, we need every piece of merch that we've ever made to submit so we could, like, just display what exactly it is that we're going to take ownership of. And completely unrelated to this, just as, like, an exercise, Tony, who did all of our merch for us, who's so amazing, he made an image during the shutdown period that was a singular photo that contained every piece of merch we had made. And because of that, we were able to secure all of our merch in, like, an easy, convenient way that didn't take hours of going back and forth and double checking. We're just able to use this reference image that he created that completely simplified the process.
It was the most amazing, like, you've got to be kidding me, aha moment where they literally said, we're going to need this. And we went, oh, fuck. And somebody went, Tony's image. And we were like, no problem. Responded to them in minutes. Like, they probably thought, well, we're never going to hear from those assholes again. Or, like, that'll take them a couple weeks. Did not. Took us 35 seconds to find that image and send it to them. And then it was great.
That image is in the contract as well.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Should we post it? Have we posted that anywhere?
We talked
No,
about it. I don't know if we ever did.
Yeah, we should post it with that image that Tony made.
Yeah, I feel like at the beginning, you just assume it's like, oh, we're acquiring face. So we just get all of, but and then they were like, you need to specify everything. I was like, I think that's everything. And then the last minute, I was like, wait a sec. I guess we need the merch designs if we ever want to resell any of that stuff. And then suddenly we all started looking at everything with a real like magnifying glass kind of approach. It's like, have we got everything in this contract?
Which is where the Ratty Boy came to be, by the way. Have we talked about that? Like where we are with Ratty Boy?
No. I don't.
Yeah, you want to give the update, Andrew?
I don't even know how to give the update. It's a weird situation where like I don't know. I don't even know how to give this up. So there's technically not a legal, like there is an agreement and an understanding and parties were paid, but there isn't a legal contract that was made for Ratty Boy because it's fucking Ratty Boy. That seems ridiculous. So we were trying to get specific rights to Ratty Boy and they couldn't transfer them because technically, legally, there is nothing to transfer, but we have them, but we technically don't. Like, I don't even know necessarily where it lays right now.
Yeah, so the limbo, I think, is where Ratty Boy is, and probably will be for a while.
Yeah, I don't.
Honestly,
that is a thing we will figure out down the road.
Originally, I had him removed from the original contract because we were just trying to get our stuff as soon as possible. Ideally, we wanted to launch with our feeds, which ended up being delayed. But I was just like, I don't want Ratty Boy to hold our thing back any more weeks. So we just, we'll deal with that later.
Yeah. And then it was the process of they are trying to negotiate sales of huge properties and us. So what about Ratty Boy? What's going on with that? Hey, are we good with Ratty Boy? It was great. It was very funny that, from our perspective of like, oh, it'd be awesome to have that. And them having like a million things that they need to do that are way more important.
Yeah, I think if on the list of all the properties those people were dealing with right at the end of the company, Ratty Boy would have been the very, very bottom.
If not, I would love to know what was below it.
we must have been the least important production to cross the threshold. You know what I mean? Like we were just over the line of like it's an issue, we have to deal with it, it's money and business, but we were definitely at the bottom of the list.
Which made it difficult and annoying, not blaming anyone, for the feed situation of we had crossed, as he said, we had barely crossed that line of we needed to pay for this thing, being the face like back catalog and rights and all that stuff. We needed money for it. There needed to be legal terms worked out. Parties needed to be involved. We crossed the line where that all needed to happen, but we were at the bottom of that line, so it was priority to everybody else before us. So that is a large factor in why we weren't able to launch with our feeds, is having to go through that lawyer process while also understanding that we are not the priority.
Which,
within their window.
By the way, no hard feelings. Like, we get it. I looked at the other properties. We were at the bottom of that list. Like, that's how you would prioritize it. It makes total sense. Like, we didn't feel slighted or anything. It was annoying, but it wasn't any less annoying than anything anyone else went through, or any more annoying than anything anyone else went through. It's just what the process is. And we were just where we were, in the hopper because of, how valuable we were.
And honestly, incredibly thankful to have it at this point, because
oh my God,
I listened to a podcast that was going through essentially the exact same thing we were, of transfer of ownership, and they still don't have everything worked out, and they were probably 2 months prior to when we started. So it's been interesting to hear their perspective of what they're going through, of like trying to get their YouTube channel transferred over and all of that stuff. Just knowing like, wow, as annoying as it felt at the time, because there was definitely a period where it felt like, okay, we're going to get this done on Friday. And then it would be Monday and it would be, okay, this is going to take 2 more weeks. And then there would be more time. Like, it was a shifting, it felt like, deadline. But ultimately, I think we got it in an incredibly timely manner. And I'm super thankful, obviously, for everybody involved in that process of
100%
allowing it to happen.
Yeah, I was being a real pain in the ass. Like, I've never been particularly good about like advocating for myself. Like I'm bad at chasing people up because I'm like, they're busy and
yeah.
But in the past, in my personal and professional life, I've just been forgotten a bunch of times where it's like, oh yeah, that no one was looking at that the whole time and I was waiting on it. So for this, I was literally like slacking every morning, like, hey, Eddie, I was feeling like a real pain, but I think, I don't know, I think our enthusiasm for getting it done was eventually paid off.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Totally.
Absolutely. But that's kind of, we've discussed a lot of this in the early days of the Regulation podcast, but that's kind of in a nutshell, the business, where we are. And where we are is honestly a couple of months ahead of schedule. And we've gotten there a little bit faster. So we're kind of in a point now where we're like, okay, well, let's look at what's possible now. Let's look at what's attainable. Gavin mentioned that we might be adding another gaming slot weekly in the near-ish future. We still got to work out our editing pipeline a little bit better, I think. But we're in the process of that. And we have some really, really, really fast and talented editors that we're working with, which is
people
great.
that we worked at with Let's Play, it's so nice to, I had so much fun kind of being able to have a big creative lead and like work with the team involved in that. So being able to now be in a position to give work to those people that I had so much fun working with at Rooster Teeth has been awesome.
And the amount of stuff coming in that where I'm just like, yeah, no notes. It's great.
Yeah, I know. It's right. The quality is fucking awesome. But it's also, that's part of the beauty of finding editors that are not only good at editing. There's a lot of talented editors out there, but that understand your sense of humor and get what you're trying to do and are able to help you convey that through editing and enhance it. And we're very fortunate with the.
And I think that shows in the work. Like everybody who touches any of the stuff we do has a genuine enthusiasm for it. And it just adds a completely different layer of quality, I think, to whatever that product is or video or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do we want to get into some of the questions that the Falcon tier people sent? So if you're a member of the Falcon tier, we can get back to talking about more other stuff if there's other things we want to cover, but I definitely want to get to these questions. We had a lot of people submit a lot of different stuff. And yes, I think these are good sort of talking points for us to get into.
We got so many amazing questions. If your question is not answered or discussed in this thing, that does not mean it won't be. I have archived all of these questions. These were just some of the ones that jumped out at me, or were questions where 6 people asked the same thing. And so it's sort of grouped under that. So
this is from that one guy over there, 33. Will you finish previous series such as Escape Academy from Let's Plays and video game stuff?
I would love to, Jeff. Do you want to keep doing Escape Academy?
I'm just waiting for the invite. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're sort of at a process, I think, with this where I'm so excited that I feel like, and I don't know if you guys agree with this, that our legs are under us as far as we still have things to figure out on the logistic business end, but we are able to shift more into content pipeline in a way that I think is so exciting. And I'm just being able to put more attention into that and not feel like we're having to put out constant fires in different areas. Stuff like Escape Academy is we're going to get back to that. It just, between getting a Patreon going and the back end of the business stuff, it is just we have been scrambled in trying to get so many things done and can focus more on we can just do content stuff.
The process of Eric and I applying for credit cards for the business yesterday.
Oh my God.
Oh my fucking God. Do they make it harder than it needs to be for any fucking human
Was it harder than mailing something to Canada?
Yeah, it was right. It didn't take as long, but it was right up there. It was, I'm going to get mad. I don't want to get mad, but there was just there was a fucking moment. There was a fucking moment, dude. There was a fucking moment where I'm talking to a dude at American Express to get an American Express business fucking credit card. And he goes, I need to see your bank statement. And I go, not a problem. Here's my bank statement. And he goes, well, I can't accept this bank statement. And I go, why? And he goes, because this bank is American Express. And I go, that's correct. You're our bank. And he goes, yeah, but we can't accept this. And I go, but Surely the process
Oh my God.
of vetting us to give us a bank account is the same as or more stringent than the process of vetting us to give us a credit card. Seems like a duplicative effort. And the guy's like, yeah, I guess that so. But anyway, I can't take it. And I'm like, so are you suggesting that I close down my American Express checking account and go across the street to open it up with a new bank and give them all of my money so that I can then get accepted for a credit card with you? And he goes, oh my God, I'm not excited. Oh, no, sir, I'm not. And it just went on like that forever.
Oh my God.
my God.
Sorry,
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
it was annoying.
Surely if it's linked to the same bank, it's the most secure credit card in the world.
That's what we were thinking and saying, and he was
And
like,
that was
no.
part of the appeal of going
Yeah.
this route in the fucking first place.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that was like the whole reason, was just like, oh, good, it's all under one roof. And it's like, well, why do we even do this then?
You've basically fronted them the money for the entire credit line.
Yeah. It was just like, so now I'm excited because we put in the application, we talked to him on the phone. He's like, yeah, we just have to go through and look at this and make sure. I'm so excited for them to say no. I think we just have to go with if they say no, we have to go with someone else and let them know we're going with someone else because they made it so difficult. Like, it's
man.
insane. It was so crazy.
It's just like, you're right, Andrew. We're at the point now where our feet are mostly under us and we can
Yes,
focus
I mean,
on
there's still
content
stuff.
creation. But there's still some shit. The
Yeah.
fucking, my buddy Nick over there, I love him to death. But every 30 minutes he needs a new forum right now. And it's just, and I know it's not Nick. He's dealing with people, but we're still just dealing with some
Yes.
fucking administrative stuff in the background that's making me pull my fucking hair out. But we're close. We're real close. We're real close.
And that is why Escape Academy will continue.
So yeah, we'll get back to it.
It was so funny that like when the tax, so our business name was wrong with our tax thing, and the only way to get that corrected is to mail them a physical letter explaining it and what it needs to be changed to, and then they just automatically process it. I just watched John Q, which is a 2001 movie all about like trying to submit forms and the annoyance and bullshit of like that process. And it is hilarious in 2024. It is the exact same shit. It is having to send physical letters for things and then being told the wrong thing and having to send a letter somewhere else. Like, it was insane to watch a movie from 2001 and just go, there has been no progress. Zero progress in this field of like, submitting government forms.
It's gotten worse.
I think it's probably even more annoying though, because like the tech has gotten so much better around it, but it has just remained dog shit in physical paper form.
Oh my God.
But thank you so much for the question.
Jesus Christ. This next one's from Luna E. Do you guys still receive any sort of royalties for monetized old face content?
Yes.
All of it. Like that's,
Yeah.
I feel like an important thing to clarify of like, if
Yep.
you watch any of the old stuff, it helps.
Yeah, the face channel, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And audio.
Let's Play, no. Any of our videos on Let's Play, no. We don't get any monetization for that. No revenue for that. But yeah, that was part of what took so long. But yeah, as of, I don't know, not very long ago, a couple weeks ago, maybe we do.
Although I will say, we got the YouTube channel, and about a week in, I I was looking around back there and realized no one had switched the AdSense account. We were just still attached to the old Rooster Teeth AdSense. So I think the first few days of our channel all the revenue still went to them, which is fantastic.
Oh my God. We're fucking so stupid. There's just so much in so many directions.
That's not even that was just like, we were doing a million things and that was the thing that just got passed.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say we're not stupid. This shit sucks.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
does suck.
This stuff, every fucking stupid little step, everything has to be checked, and you don't know what you don't know until you figure it out. And I don't know half this shit.
That's why I apologize to you, Eric, but I refuse to fill out any forms here on out without Eric in my presence. There just have to be two of us at all times. That's why
It's
I've
just
been
a lot
making come over
faster.
to my house a lot. Yeah.
It's just a lot faster. Luna also asked, will Gracie be making any appearances anytime soon? The hope there, I talked to Gracie not too long ago. The hope there is yes, but Gracie works a full-time job.
Yeah.
Like big, she's working a big girl job. Like this is a real
Dumbass.
thing. Yeah.
Dumbass Gracie went and became a grown-up.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
She's all professional and fucking corporate.
she has a career. It's fucking crazy.
So we'll try not to tank that, but also get her in stuff.
Yeah.
She's also
So,
in
yeah.
some stuff that hasn't released yet.
That is true. We do have some things.
And
that are coming out with cheese on it.
I've been working with Gracie a little bit on the side on something that I think would be a fun way to incorporate Gracie in a way that I'm excited about it.
Yeah. As long as it's not I mean, you can't blindside us again, so it's fine.
That's true. It's true.
This is from Scoob D. Did Jeff take his refrigerator when he moved?
I was just genuinely curious about it. I saw that question. I was like, that's a great question. Do you have that fridge?
No.
No?
The fridge stays.
Oh,
yeah,
It's
that's how
custom,
it works.
size, right?
Yeah, it's custom size. I wouldn't have fit. And what am I going to do? Put it in this new house that already has a refrigerator? I'm renting. It would just sit in a garage.
Such a saga.
No, it was such a saga. But those are the highs and the lows of homeownership. That's what it's like. That's the naked, honest truth. If I did anything over the course of the Face podcast, it was to lay bare to you the joys and the pains of home ownership, and that's one of them. Sometimes you may buy a refrigerator that costs as much as a car and may take you more than a year to get it, and then you may get it put in and then about a year later lose your job and have to move. That's just the way it works sometimes.
This next one is from Fortunes Faded. What is your assessment of the England-Netherlands matchup this Wednesday in the UEFA Championship?
That's in
UEFA.
less than an hour.
Yep.
I'm sorry. You just say UEFA?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. UEFA.
I didn't know that.
UEFA.
Yeah.
I don't watch this shit. Gavin, what do you think? That's in like an hour, isn't it?
It's
it
in
is.
less than an hour. I've been shitting my pants all morning. I think that was from food, but also because I'm scared of England going out. Because they've been I feel like just scraping through every game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So fingers crossed.
Is Netherlands, are they a big underdog? Like, are they a good team? Do you know anything about the Netherlands?
Do you know
as
how
far
many
as-
gears the Netherlands has?
Yeah, do they have a secret gear that British people tell me about?
I feel like I saw them in their high gear and it was impressive.
Ooh.
They seem like a good
Have
team.
Still
have you
waiting to
seen
see
England's
England in
high
their
gear?
high gear, yeah.
Yeah.
They sort of pulled it out in the last. Well, yeah, good point.
Yeah. Well, there you go. If it goes to penalties, we might stream it. So by the time you hear this, that's already happened. But who knows? This is from the Frosty Crane. Is there a plan to eventually release or continue Face Off? And will the previous episodes that were first exclusive get up or behind the Patreon?
Absolutely. And I think there's stuff with that I'm excited about. I think being kind of vague about the timeline of that stuff is the way to go for now. But yeah, we're definitely going to do more of it. And there will be that will be accessible. And I think the not too distant future.
And is that going to be for everyone or for the?
We haven't had that
Members.
conversation, but I assume everyone.
Okay.
You mean like all face-offs going forward, or just that first season
Just the first season, like re-releasing
that makes
the
sense to
first
me.
season as a public thing, and then the
to
second
promote
season,
the second season, which would probably
exactly.
be
Which is a model that Rooster Teeth did a few times, I think, where as the second season is airing behind a paywall, the first season's going up for free.
You know what they didn't
Yeah.
do that with? Because there was no third season, I guess, is Survive Block Island Meltdown. I am the winner of a reality show that does not exist anywhere.
I wish we would have figured out a way to maintain that. I really like that.
That would
show.
have been fun.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that I got to be a part of it. That was such a unique experience.
Yeah, it really was. It was one of the best experiences I had working with the company, for sure.
This is from Jocelyn M. Said, can't wait for the new sausage. Loving everything we've been putting out. Pico Park stream killed it. Are there any new types of videos or content that you're interested in exploring but haven't tried out yet? Love y'all and appreciate the joy you bring.
So many, and I feel like we're right on the cusp, I feel like, of doing a lot of that stuff. There's
Yeah.
so much stuff that we can do that is, I know we all have different things we're excited about as far as content goes. I know me especially, like, it has just been a process of, as I said, feeling like we need to get our feet under us and then being able to pivot in unique and interesting ways of things that we're excited about. And I think the audience will really like as well. And with Patreon, it being a unique situation of being able to make stuff that we think you'll like and that we're really excited about and are not worried about it being a massive hit on YouTube or other
Yeah.
platforms. Like that, if that happens, that's cool, but like that is not at all the goal of a lot of this content.
To to me, the thing I'm most excited about is how fast we can turn stuff around when we have ideas for this new stuff. Like we were talking about it the other day, Gavin, where it was that, hey, I got this mod thing for GTA 4. Do you want to try it? And that was like a Wednesday. And then we did it on a Thursday. And then it was like ready to go out. It was just like from idea to completion was turned around so fast. And that is not something I've been really used to with what we were doing previously.
And that mod was something I'd seen probably a decade ago. But I remember at the time in Achievement Hunter or in Let's Play, we weren't really PC gamers yet. We were just like console exclusive. So I was like, it kind of just like fell into the back of my brain for ages.
Yeah,
It's a great video.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting to be able to do that stuff fast and everything.
And it's like, that's a great example of like that video spun off an idea for a series of them that we're really excited about doing. And we'll talk about, all the different things we want to make. And it's kind of hard because there's so many opportunities and there's so much stuff out there that we want to make. That's one of the things that I think will probably happen and happen sooner than later, because I think it's something we're all invested and excited about.
Yeah. This is from Julia M. What was everyone's favorite part of switching to Regulation Pod?
Oh, it's tough.
I know for me, it's so easy. I have so much more time to make stuff and not have to be in meetings explaining why things are happening or what needs to happen or being told what needs to happen. There is so much more time to do rather than to sort of like mull over. It is such to me, it's such a slam dunk answer. My time is so much more valuable this way in what we're doing. Like infinitely more valuable.
I find it hard to explain. My excitement has just gone way up. I just feel so much more responsible and I have eyes on more things. And I'm just so much more all in than I was before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel lighter and freer, as if like 21 years of weight has been lifted, honestly. and I don't even mean that to be silly, but it's just such an exciting time to be here with you guys, and it's just energizing at all times,
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like that before. I mean, I loved it before, but this is just like a different thing, and it just feels like we're all plugged in to the same entity. And we're all like, it's very Borgish. If I can get Star Trek-y for a second, you know what I mean? I feel like
totally.
we got a little Borg unit going, and I love it because it makes it's what Achievement Hunter was at its best. It's what Rooster Teeth was at its best. It's just like the sum of the parts creating something greater than they are individually.
A regulation Borg cube.
Totally.
Yeah, we're Regulation Borg Cube.
It is a really exciting thing of like, we are making the stuff and our stuff is the thing. And anyone who is part of this community or involved with it is excited about that thing, and everything is unified, as opposed to being in a place where it felt like we have a little corner of this larger thing, and to incorporate specific stuff for us just felt complicated, or maybe things that from the top down of Rooster Teeth as a business made sense didn't at all make sense with what we wanted to do, or like how we would handle certain things.
Yeah.
So just having full autonomy and it being all about the thing that we are specifically invested in and excited about has been incredible.
Yeah, it kind of goes to what Eric was saying, and it's just that like no one can say no to us, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't have to ask anybody's permission for anything. I don't have to pitch anything. I don't have to make you guys will have, like, you guys, not you guys, but the audience has no idea how many, even as a founder of Rooster Teeth, how many pitch decks I personally created, how many one sheets I had to create to get stuff made, to get face made, to get everything made. Even though you would think I would have some sort of what Bernie called founder's wand that I could just wave and say, I bequeath myself a new podcast, but it doesn't work that way, right? You still have to have good ideas, and those good ideas still have to compete against the other ideas, and you still have to get yeses, and you still have to go through the process and do the work, and all that's gone. It's just stripped away. The only people I have to get approval from are two of you. And I don't care which two of you. You know what I mean?
They could be two spite votes, and those work just the same.
It's also nice to not have to say no to a bunch of stuff and piss off like entire departments like marketing. We were always saying no to some like forced collaboration that then resulted in like us being punished kind of because we don't want to work. We wanted to keep our thing the way people like it, basically.
No, nobody's trying to. This was a struggle that we all felt at RT. But nobody's trying to drag us into things that we have no business being in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Just don't make sense for any of us.
Nobody's trying to force us into other content that we don't want to be in.
You're absolutely right, and I totally agree. And this was a question from Megan Y that said, "What things have been easier since going, individual brand IP, and what things have been harder?" And I think that's what we're talking to here. Is
yes,
yeah,
that is what Gavin just explained is such a double-edged sword. Because you're right, we don't have to do these things that are asked of us and everything. However, all of the heavy lift of doing all of the things, a sales department, a marketing department, like all of those pieces and parts, a design department, like all of that is now on the 5 of us to see that stuff through. And it is easier to say yes and no and however we want to sort of delineate those things. But boy, seeing it through when you are a structureless form of just 5 people in a Discord call is way harder than when it is emails and somebody else's job.
The way that I was thinking about that question is everything that they, as an audience or community member, sees is easier. Everything that they don't experience as that is harder.
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
That's a brilliant way to put it,
man.
Andrew. Yeah,
that is
like everything that you care about as somebody who consumes this content and wants to like be part of what we're doing, infinitely easier. All the stuff that has zero impact on you, so much harder and is so much more pressure because there's we have to figure this stuff out. But it is absolutely worth it for that trade-off. And it's also like, it's not like a thing of we have an idea, let's now pitch like 50 people about it and then get different tiers of approval and then have to try to figure it out and then make adjustments to it based off of that approval. It is like we come up with thing, we make thing, and the only it's not an approval thing, but like being able to see the audience community reaction to it is like, that is the thing of like, how do they feel about this? Like what feedback are they going to give us that like, oh shit, you're like, that is an interesting point. We didn't consider that. Obviously everything we're making is because we're passionate about it and we're leading with what we want to do first, but it's like, that's the only wall of feedback we have as opposed to like getting the thing. It's not justifying getting the thing made. It is making the thing and then seeing like, oh, okay, this is what people are into, or like maybe there's a takeaway that we wouldn't have naturally figured out, but now the audience is bringing forward. So it's just a completely different, much more rewarding process.
I think it is more rewarding. I think it's a good way to put it. I feel better about it. I don't wake up at 3 and be like, oh, fuck, I got to email that guy. Like, I think there's a handle that we have on it and I feel good about it.
I'll say I'm working harder and longer than I have in years. And I feel like I'm working less than ever, if that makes any sense.
I agree.
I know
it's
what you
like, I'm tired from all the stuff we're doing, but it's felt like all of my energy has been spent so well and it's not been frustrating.
Yeah.
Although I do miss occasionally Eric and I would have to brainstorm for collaborations that the company were going to do. And they were always ridiculous. But like the premise that Eric and I had to come up with an idea of what our Borderlands, the movie promotion would be.
It was so good.
Is like, I'm sad that that's not a thing that's going to happen, but just like having those conversations, because it's still, and I think it will always feel to me that we're just making dumb stuff as a group of idiots who are friends and like this is fun. And then it gets weird when it's like Bad Boys wants you got to promote Bad Boys the movie and like, okay, well, this that let's shoot hot dogs at a cutout of Martin Lawrence. Like there is a layer of like professionalism and then us having to touch like this professionalism documents and be like, let's see if we can get this dumb shit approved.
To be like questioned about it too. Like to go, hey, we're going to shoot hot dogs at these cutouts. And they go, what does that have to do with Bad Boys? And you go, it has this to do with Bad Boys. And they go, I don't know. And it's like, what What do you mean I don't know? I don't know either. No one here knows.
I never understood. People used to hate when those RFPs would come in from like Doritos or whatever, and they'd be like, we need 10 ideas by tomorrow. Let's get a little session together and brainstorm. I always really enjoyed that. It was always just such a fun, creative thought exercise, you know?
But it's fruitless.
No,
But
it
it's
usually is nine
fruitless.
times out of 10 it is fruitless, but every once in a while something would go through and it would be good. But even if nothing happened from it, I always saved those ideas, and a lot of the stuff we made at Achievement Hunter or Let's Play was initially from a different pitch that I just put in my pocket and held on to and then used it for us later. So it wasn't like it was wasted. If anything, it probably helped because I may not have ever had the idea if I hadn't been forced to sit in the room and iterate on something.
Right. I have some breaking. We have a couple more questions, and we'll wrap it up and see if there's anything else we want to talk toward. But I do have some unfortunate breaking news in the middle of this recording. 12 minutes ago, discussing film, Kevin Costner's Horizon 2 has had its August 16th theatrical release canceled.
What?
The studios are hoping that allowing more time to grow the audience for the first film before releasing the second.
That makes sense.
I want my
Let's focus
points
on the
back.
first movie.
Give me my points
Let's
back.
focus.
You can't have your points back. You bought this.
Oh my God.
You
Dude,
can't have
my untitled New Line horror movie got pushed. I don't have that. It's like that's the way it works
man.
sometimes.
You knew what you were getting into. Second part of a Kevin Costner Western
I was
coming out within
counting
a
on part
month
two.
of the first part.
Oh,
You're 500 million ahead of everybody. You're fine.
I'm the studio. Why did I do that?
Did you see Kevin Costner dejectedly talking about the failure of Horizon in the first part? And how it's just like, I've never seen a director be like, yeah, like I got another one coming in the pipeline. There's nothing I can do about it. But hey, at least those movies look the way they do. I'm real proud of that. Like, I'm going to lose a lot of money on this, but they look the way I want.
Yeah, did he go bankrupt making this film? Apparently?
No.
Like he self-funded it, took out a mortgage on his house.
So he was getting divorced and everything that might have had something to do with it, and then he's having to do stuff that I know he doesn't want to do. I just dropped a photo of it in the
Yeah, there you go.
Kevin Costner has released his own blend of Green Mountain Keurig cups at a
Hell
Walmart,
yeah.
and it's Kevin Costner in front of them, $12.98 at a Walmart.
I think
like Dallas.
It's
good
so
for him.
fucking funny that they're doing this for part 2 when he's currently filming part 3 and part 4 is still to be started. This is supposed to be a 4-movie series. That is insane.
Wow.
Got ourselves a
man.
real Avatar situation going on.
We do.
We really do.
That's right, Jeff. This is exactly like Avatar.
Man, I can't wait for the audience to catch on to the first one, which is going to create,
Cult classic.
enthusiasm for the second one. Unfortunately, it'll be out of the window, so Gavin won't receive the benefit from it. But the slow build of the first one is going to really help me out.
I think it's the furthest on the opposite side of the spectrum you could have, where Avatar is a movie about blue people that everyone wants to see, and this is about white people that nobody wants. It's fantastic.
Similar to people getting post-Avatar depression syndrome, I'm having post-Horizon depression syndrome. I know there's more on the horizon. However, they have pushed it, and now I don't know what I'm going to do. So I live in a bleak, sepia-toned world.
I wonder if they took the film of Horizon and they put a blue filter over all the characters and then drew some like Avatar marks on them and then re-released it the exact same way, but just with Avatar-ish, if they would do better.
If they gave Kevin Costner a tail, it's making money. It's banking.
Here's what they do to make this movie happen. They cut out each scene and give each scene to a different special or VFX house, and they can add whatever CG they want to each scene.
That rocks.
Then people will go and see that movie.
That would be an amazing film. Look for the Easter egg in every shot. Oh my God.
Okay, this next question is from Sven E. Sven says, what happened to all the stuff from the museum, like the tuxedo and the porta potty?
We have half of those things.
Well, the porta potty was last seen riding off into the sunset in a U-Haul.
Yeah, I've got it in my studio currently.
Yeah,
Okay.
Gavin's got it.
I knew we had it, but I didn't know where it was.
He's got that. He's got the break show, and he's got a bunch of like leftover face merch that was sitting around. A lot of straws.
But because those are things that we bought, that's our money. The tuxedo, however, was a purchase that we did not purchase. So we do not have the tuxedo any longer. I apologize. But we do have the porta potty, and we can try to dress it up, but that's the best we're going to be able to do. I'm very sorry.
We could always try and get another Jackie Chan outfit.
Maybe we need to
Oh,
replace...
what a good idea!
Here's the thing with that, because I've had a similar thought. We are in a community, like we are largely funded from Patreon. I think it would be so fun to get figure out what either movie or item that is as like a community and do one of those auctions again and try to secure it. But I think
that's a good
we need
idea.
Everybody on board because it's
I really like that.
I wonder if they ever auction off any of his socks.
I think we could go further. I think we could even leave the realm of Jackie Chan. I think we could expand.
You think you're thinking of a different tuxedo?
I like the idea of getting a different tuxedo that is unrelated to the tuxedo. What is the next great tuxedo? Is it a Bond
James
tux?
Bond? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the classic one.
That's out of reach.
I don't know, because
if we're lucky, we can afford a George Lazenby, and who wants that?
I was going to say that there are I noticed when they were doing a big John Wick 4 auction, John Wick had 25 tuxes.
Now,
all were cheaper than you'd expect. Now, I don't think we're getting more John Wick, unfortunately, but if the old ones go in rotation, that is a consideration.
I was looking on an auction site. You can buy Luke Cornett's game-worn NBA shorts from the finals for $700. You can buy Jason Tatum's for about $70,000, but Luke Cornett was the cheapest I could find. $700. You can have his sweaty dick sweat all over you.
What if we went for a Chris Tucker suit?
Oh, that's not going to be a Rush Hour 4.
A Ruby Rod outfit.
What if we built a collection of Jackie Chan sidekicks? Just people that have appeared alongside Jackie Chan.
I love that idea.
We don't have the original thing that started us down this road, but we're going to do all of his sidekick stuff?
All of his adjacent stuff.
We could start a museum where the center container of prop is just completely empty.
I want Owen Wilson's cowboy suit from Shanghai Noon bad. That'd be awesome.
You know, some say the absence of a tuxedo is the real tuxedo.
Wow. I mean, I don't say that, but yeah, I mean, I guess I get what you're saying.
That's what I didn't say it. Some say it.
All right. Last question. Will you guys ever consider having a P.O. box for us to send things? I'd bought some gifts to send in for the break show right around the time of the closure was announced. Love you guys and all you do. That's from Christy.
We have a P.O. box. I'm happy to report.
Yes.
We do. That you can send stuff to whenever you want to. And Andrew is going to say that PO box number right now.
But
PO box.
Hang on. Wait. Stop. Here's the issue that I have with the PO box right now. We don't have anywhere for this stuff to go.
You can go to my house.
Okay. We all heard it. Yeah. It's recorded. When Emily messages me and says, "What the fuck is all this?" then I will go, here is the recording.
Then it'll go to the studio where in the porta potty.
Why don't we say we'll accept all mail in microfilm format?
We'll just put it in the porta potty. We got tons of room in there.
Okay. That's our storage unit.
Storage wars, but it's porta potties.
We're gonna have to get a fucking office someday.
Yes, that's what I'm bringing up because I'm not keeping the stuff at my house, dude.
I don't think we need an office. I disagree with this.
Oh,
because you never go to it.
Yeah, I was just saying you don't want us to collaborate without you.
Well, no. Well, first of all, yes. Second of all,
okay,
we do a remote thing.
Easy.
Why would I want to pay money for you guys to make stuff I can't be a part of?
You could be a part of it over the internet.
But I never am. It's never as good.
Every time we've recorded in person, you've been on the Discord.
Not true.
Not always.
Not always. Most of the time, not. I think
every
the
time
best
in the office.
stuff. Yeah, but the best stuff I feel like when you guys are together does not involve me and is you're digging a hole. You're doing.
You know why? It's. Wait, so we're not supposed to dig holes, or we can't? Or
we're not supposed to do the best stuff?
Those are great. I just don't think there is a value in us having a physical space.
Okay, you know what? Hey, you know what? You know what, Andrew? You make a very strong point. So let's go ahead and take a vote. All in favor of getting a space, say aye.
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 Nay.
Okay.
I think it's a really like an unnecessary use of money.
What if we got a storage unit first?
The amount of stuff, though, the amount of ideas that came from just being stood around each other.
So hang out in a place where we're not paying for an office. You guys can hang out anywhere. We do not need to pay money for you guys to have a space to hang out in.
This is the same issue as keeping stuff that people send in where we're just going somewhere. We're just going to hang out somewhere. We're going to go to someone's house.
Anywhere, any house.
Yeah, do you know where a really
spaces.
cool place would be? A space that we rent that we can use for whatever
But why
we want.
rent? Like you guys could go to a coffee shop. You could go to each other's houses. Like this is happening already.
Why are you dictating where we go? This doesn't make any sense to me. Jeff, you voted nay?
Because it doesn't make sense.
Hold on a second. But what if we wanted to like do a cooking thing? Like melon balling or whatever?
Yeah, what if we wanted time to set something up, make it, light it, make it look decent, and then we don't necessarily want to film it that day? What, we're going to take all of our stuff back out of the coffee shop?
If only one of us has a studio in which you could film things.
He's volunteering your studio, Gavin.
I have to pay for that.
Well, that's what my point. My point is that sure, I would pay you rent for that.
Wait, we're paying Gavin rent, but we could be renting a space.
What? That's the same.
I don't see the value in us having a space constantly.
Don't say us, say you.
What if we did this? What if we, in conjunction with renting an office in Austin, we rented one in Vancouver Island, and every time we went, you went, and we all had to be at the office together. Oh,
it's just I think it doesn't make any sense. But I respect the vote.
I feel like there's got to be a technical way to improve the lines of communication to make it better. Like it was always just a ramshackle thing we threw together in a conference room at RT.
Yeah, and there's still stuff that we wanted to do that we can't do because we don't have a space right now. It's like a gameplay thing we want to do.
Yeah, we do want to do that gameplay thing.
See, I don't know.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
You do.
You absolutely know about it. It's just we don't have a place to do it.
The premise of, I feel like a value that we have is that being a remote company, like I don't think we lose anything in our remoteness. So the idea of like making a physical space just as a constant doesn't make any sense to me. We can hang out outside of that.
I can understand that. I also think it's not like, even if we decided, well, I mean, we voted, but decided to get a place, I don't think we would be doing it tomorrow. I think it's a decision that would be like pretty far down the road as we grow and maybe our needs grow and change too. I don't know. But I definitely see that it's a point of contention and I don't want it to be. I mostly, I would be happy with a storage unit right now, just so we have a place to put shit that doesn't burden Gavin or I was on board with it till Eric mentioned my wife and then I got scared.
I don't know how that wasn't the first thing you thought of.
Because I don't think a lot, I'm like, if I'm being honest with you, most of my idle thoughts these days are taken up by hot dogs. I think about hot dogs a lot. That's mostly what I'm thinking of.
Buns.
What?
Yeah. I've been thinking, I had like so many fucking hot dogs in Michigan.
Andrew, what do you
weird.
think?
It's weird. It's weird that you shit so much. Anyway.
What do you think we'll lose?
Right.
What do you mean?
What will we lose that we currently have by getting a space?
By getting I just want...
Apart from money.
Money is like the obvious thing. The second thing is like, I just feel like that is not going to be an optimal way for me to interact with you guys. And I want to be part of that. And it's okay that there are times where I'm not part of that. But if like the idea of you guys always are going to this space and I'm the only remote one, I hate that.
I can listen. I can completely and totally understand that, and I think that the fear there would be, if I were in Andrew's position, it's like if you guys go to the office and you're in the office more and more and more, then I'm a part of it less and less and less.
Yes,
and I would feel maybe pushed to the side.
And as somebody who is on the remote end of you guys in the office, it sucks most of the time.
I completely understand.
I mean, the delay for content, I think it does suck, but I don't think we would want to record a ton. But we all used to go to an office anyway.
So, but then, like, for me, just my position of, from a business perspective, why do we need to pay for a place that you guys hang out in? Why is that, like, you can't hang out in other places? That is just my thought. as somebody who is not going to utilize this space.
We can definitely hang out at a coffee shop and kick around ideas or go to lunch and stuff. That's easy, but there is a benefit of having a creative space to play in, kind of like the old Achievement Hunter office. I don't know that we need to address it today or even a month from now, but I do think that there would be a benefit of just having a place where we could go that we can mess up and we don't have to disrupt my life or Eric's life or Gavin's other business, and we can turn the lights off and leave, you know?
And like that whiteboard wouldn't have happened remotely.
Why wouldn't it have, though? Why couldn't that have happened remotely?
We need a place to store stuff. We need a place to store stuff. And if we're already going to pay for a place to store stuff, I want it to be a place that we can go to as we see fit and not have to go through so many hoops to get into. I don't see the benefit of not having a space if we are going to get together occasionally and film things in person. I understand what you're saying about being remote. We can figure that out. I do not think it will be a day-to-day place that we will go to, but I can see a Friday afternoon where we know we're going to film something. That's there, and we have all of the cards that people are going to send to this P.O. box that I'm about to read out and all of this other stuff because it's not going to stop.
And we won't change anything that's remote now into an in-person thing down the line. Like, we're still going to keep everything we do the same.
I understand saying that, but like...
Eric does bring up one point. I am not going to start the card show back until I have a dedicated space for it. Like, I've been kind of holding out on that. I just don't have the room for it in my house. Like, it's my office is mostly cards. So I need a dedicated, I need a set to, if I want to continue the break show. And I would like to continue the break show for regulation at some point or some iteration of it. I do think that there's like just highlighting collectibles and having fun and playing with collectibles, I think is something that there's a lot of entertainment value in. And I definitely would like a place to do that. But I also think that we're having a very serious discussion about something that's a long way off, probably. So,
and that, just to clarify, I fully support that. Like, I totally see value in that, especially if like we want to film a specific show, like having like a does it do type thing, we would need a space like that. And I love that. Like, I want as many of our creative ideas to have a place to exist and to make them the best they can be as possible. My opposition to it was that it was originally framed to me as let's have a physical space to hang out in.
Yeah.
That's not, I don't believe that's how we framed it.
It was
chilling.
I 100%. Andrew, I completely understand what you're saying. I disagree with your premise. I don't believe that's what we said. I said I need a place to put stuff.
Whether it's what we said or not, it's what he heard, and that's the only thing that matters. But I will say we had the old face office, Andrew, and I would go in there and I would sit there sometimes for a couple hours. I rarely ran into any. I saw Eric a handful of times. I never saw Gavin there once, I don't think.
Yeah, I would see people like in other places just around the office.
So, I mean, nobody went to the office when we had one very often. It was mostly just a storage room. So I don't envision it would be that different in the future as well.
Just from my perspective, just to clarify, it was originally brought in the context that you guys were swimming. And then it was like, yeah, we need a place to hang out. And that was just all I heard about it.
I see.
So
I
that was my main point of like being against it. But
so you're saying we shouldn't rent a pool?
No, unless we have pool content, then I fully support the renting of the pool.
Andrew, I completely understand where you're coming from.
So
I'm excited.
The P.O. box, if you guys want to send us stuff, and please be mindful about what you're sending because you're going to send a bunch of cards for a show that we're not making right now.
Don't send anything food related because it will.
Yes,
we don't know how often we're going to check this.
That's going to go bad. So please just be mindful of what you're sending because it's for shows we're not making yet and stuff we're not doing. So please don't feel like you have to utilize this P.O. box, but we want to open it up. It is P.O. Box 13146. And you send that to care of Regulation Company, 111 East 17th Street, Austin, Texas, 78701.
And to be clear, we will not be hanging out in the P.O. box.
I got the biggest P.O. box they have, so we could if we wanted to.
Oh. Now that's a hang.
We're already paying for it. We might as well. Oh, fuck. I'm paying for it. I need to switch that over to our company.
Yeah, you blew it.
Yeah, you do.
But that'll do it for. Is there anything else you guys want to cover? This one a little bit longer than I was anticipating, but
yeah, this is.
I feel like
great.
that was a really strong sausage talk.
Why do you think they never dye the outer packaging of sausages to make them like more fun for kids? They're always the like translucent clear one.
What do you mean?
Like a
you
blue
think it's gonna be
sausage?
fun?
Yeah, imagine like a blue and red sausage.
No, I don't want to
No.
imagine that. That sounds awful.
What about those
Oh, I
Red
don't-
Hots? Isn't that kind of what they are?
Oh, I just assumed that was from like physical red pepper and stuff. Is that a dye?
Oh, I don't know. I think it
I
might
feel like
be.
you could easily dye the sausage casings.
Now, if you add white, you get red, white, and blue. I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Patriotic,
Yeah.
baby. I'll put an eagle
What
on
the?
that thing.
What the fuck? You
Oh,
think this is
Eric-
more?
Eric just
fun?
missed it. Oh my god.
This is
Why?
worse.
Now that looks
Why?
great. That looks like I'm getting my 5 a day, even though I'm not.
Five. Is that a British thing? You gotta get 5 sausages a day.
What do you mean?
Five veg a day, 5 fruit and veg.
5 a day keeps the doctor away. So
That's right.
Never
That's
heard
what they
that.
say. It's a thing from when we were kids.
That looks awesome.
No, it doesn't. That's
What are you
awful.
talking about? What's not to like about that? The gradient? Oh,
Green?
You
Purple?
know those runs where like they get dye thrown at them or whatever? It looks like those sausages went through those.
they've all been on
Yeah.
a fun run.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
Well, this has been a lot of fun, and I love.
Yeah,
you
this
guys.
has been a great sausage
This is-
talk. This is really
This
great.
is being able to recap our business stuff, and I'm so beyond thankful for like the community support and all that. I'm incredibly thankful for all of you guys. You make this so much fun, and it's
Shut
a
up,
genuine. No, fuck you.
Yeah, get him.
Yeah, get them. I'm genuinely
kidding.
excited about Monday meetings. Like it's,
I know,
like
I am
just to
too.
be able to sync up if we haven't talked in a few days. Like it's great.
Oh, hey, can I give one piece of advice to the rest of Regulation Company while I
course.
have you guys here?
Oh yeah.
Before we end, don't go on vacation. You'll be miserable. You'll miss it so much. It's
The
just
FOMO.
stay here. Vacation in your bedroom. It's like the FOMO is real, and I don't get FOMO, and it's a new experience for me. It's not cool.
Wait until you see these heists. You think, wow, these guys are almost done with this one. They're going to beat it in one. And then you realize you're halfway through the video.
Yeah, Gavin.
We love you, Dick.
I'm sorry, Andrew. I cut you off. You just continue.
No, it's just no. Listen, I'm done blowing you guys. It's a lot of fun. Love you guys. You can move on.
Well, guys, if you want to send in your sausage talk questions for our next one, you can.
Did you
Go
just
to
say sausage talk?
sausage talk? What did I say? Did I say
Sausage talk?
sausage talk?
said
Well, if you want to
sausage.
send your questions in
Sausage.
for sausage talk or sausage talk, either one, you can go to patreon.com/theregulationpod, or you can go to, for some reason, regulatory.com.
I can't wait to make my compilation of regulatory on flood.
You can send in your questions. Those were really great questions. We had a lot of repeats. Those were the ones that we selected, but those are fantastic questions. Thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you for being here for us and listening to us sort of just ramble and prattle about whatever all this stuff was. Any final thoughts for the folks listening at home, guys?
Just thank you.
Spay and neuter your pets.
Oh shit.
Thank you.
Thank you. Love you.
Bye.